Hey guys, this is Viper Stealth, and in this video I'm going to talk you through a new loadout that I've been working on. It is a loadout dedicated towards crit hit chance and damage, and let's talk you through it. Let's get into it. So this is the loadout here. I've gone for the SMG9A2. It's one of my favourite weapons. It's pretty good across the board, good damage, good RPM and good mag. With all submachine guns you get increased critical hit chance, so that's brilliant anyway. But I really like these two features. So breadbasket landing body shots as a stack bonus and to the next headshot. So that's incredibly useful for taking out people and doing maximum head damage. I've got extra magazine capacity just to bump us up to 62 bullets. And lastly, while equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. Rooted is very useful in the dark zone. When people are pushing you and you get in cover, you drop the chem launcher and it heals you more. So that keeps you on your feet. I've got the chatterbox, and the reason why I've got the chatterbox, using two SMGs, is because it has a great bonus of blabbermouth. While holstered, reloading your weapon within 5 seconds after a kill gives 20% rate of fire for 10 seconds. This just helps me really blend through opponents, but I think another benefit is incessant chatter. So every shot lands grants a 1% rate of fire to a max of 60%. So every shot landed. So why this is really useful is because I've got a magazine capacity bonus here. So I've got 62 bullets. Every time I fire a bullet and it hits its target, the rate of fire goes up. Now this gun's already 825 RPM. I've looked at the Vector, I've looked at the Police T821, they're not the same. For me, the converted SMG 9A2 works perfectly and it's beautiful. After I get a kill and I reload, more bullets just spring out of the mag. It's just amazing, and I've got the damage and the magazine capacity here to really make that land some bombs. So as I look at this loadout, the disadvantage of having two SMGs is it does affect the range, so you do want to get up close and personal with the enemy. I personally find this quite a fun playstyle, but some people won't like that there's two SMGs because of, firstly, you don't have anything to tackle people at range, and secondly, they use the same ammo pool. So instead of having an ammo for the SMG9A2 and also the blabbermouth, you only get one ammo pool to share between them, so you might run out of ammo a little bit quicker than you would on other loadouts. So you just need to make sure that you're using the restock boxes when you come across them. So moving on to the pistol, it's got a benefit. While holstered, weapon swap speed is increased by 10%. This is quite useful because in the dark zone, at least, when I'm getting pushed by multiple people and they've got good armor builds, I do need to change weapon. Reloading, even though on this weapon it's only 2.2 seconds, it's faster just to switch my blabbermouth, my chatterbox, and get the incessant chatter going. So this is quite useful to have the weapon swap speed from the pistol to be able to quickly swap between SMG. So that's why I've gone for that benefit. I don't often use the pistol, but it's not a bad pistol. If I do use it, it's got 38k damage, so that's pretty good there. But let's talk about the main gear. So overall, what you want to go for is 3 Wyvern pieces and a Gila guard. So the Gila guard kind of helps you with armor and making sure you're not a glass cannon, so making sure you can take a few hits. And the Wyvern, which is this here, the mask, it's also the knee pads and it's also the holster, it helps towards critical hit damage, critical hit chance. So let's talk about the overall build. You want to optimize everything for crit hit chance, for crit hit damage, for armor, and also damage to elites if you're interested in that. So those kind of 4 things, with the main priority being on crit hit chance and crit hit damage. So the reason why I've gone for Wyvern is because the brand gear set gives you critical hit damage and critical hit chance. So those 2 are really essential for bumping it up. I could recalibrate this if I wanted to change hard hitting into armor. I probably would do that, so I'd get hardened. That gives me 10% extra armor just to boost that up a little bit. But I'll just talk you through each piece very quickly. So the mask, there's not too much to say about that. It's probably one piece that can be worked on. Just so you know, this build is about 75% to 80% there. I've got a couple of things that I'll work on, and I'll let you know you know, what I'd do on each piece, but hard hitting isn't essential here. You don't really need damage to elites. I'd prefer armor, so I'd change that for 10% armor. The body vest, I've gone for crit hit chance, crit hit damage. You can see headshot bonus there as well. I love this armor, and the reason why is it comes with Berserk, so extremely useful in the Dark Zone. When people are depleting my armor, I become more dangerous. All of my bullets have more weapon damage, so I start melting people. And what's even better is this has got 2 offensive mod slots. So I've got one there that's got SMG damage plus 4%, which is pretty amazing, and I've got another further 2.5% weapon damage as well in the other mod. So these two are really nice for kind of contributing towards the SMG damage, but also I've got crit hit chance damage there, and also Berserk, which is a really nice perk. If you can't find Berserk, maybe go for Unbreakable, the talent that gives you 25% armor back when your armor depletes, and if you use a med pack in the next 5 seconds, it doesn't count. So Berserk or Unbreakable are good talents to have on this loadout. For the holster, I've got really high crit hit chance there at 14.5%. I've got filler up, which is reloading from empty reloads all weapons. That's not essential. I only recalibrated that because the original talent on this was pretty poor and useless for me. Filler up, I guess if I reload something, the other weapon's reloaded, but the thing is with SMGs, they've got a really small reload time, so it's not essential, and I'm on the lookout for changing this for something else. So filler up isn't essential for this loadout at all, but again, Wyvern gives me good critical hit chance and damage. Mod slot there, just boosting up the critical hit damage and weapon damage, so a little bit more for the damage there. For the bag, I've gone for Gila Guard. This is basically my armor piece. The Gila Guard gives me 5% total armor straight off the bat, and if I look down, I've got bonus armor of 8,000, which is really nice. A little bit more critical hit damage, which is bonus, but the talents here, 10% extra armor, which is really nice, and using an armor kit has a 50% chance to not consume it at all. So, you know, I've essentially, instead of having 6 armor kits, mathematically I've got about 12. So, you know, I go down a lot less easily than I would before. For the gloves, quite straightforward here. I've gone, I could change this if I needed to, because I'm not a big fan of the brand set give me plus health. I don't need that. I'd go for plus armor or something else, so I'm on the lookout for new gloves. But the advantage that I've got at the moment is 6% SMG damage. I use 2 SMGs, so that's quite useful, and crit hit damage, so that contributes towards my overall. Knee pads, I've gone for Wyvern as well, and you can see here that I need to change this talent so I can, you know, enable it. So that's one thing that I need to change, but a little bit more crit hit chance there in the attributes. That's nice. And just to point out, you can't edit the chatterbox, but you can edit the primary. And I've gone for critical hit range as the scope, so 20% plus critical hit range, and I've gone for the underbarrel mod of the critical hit chance, so that just helps me out further along. I've got a 20 plus rounds extended 9mm mag that's extremely useful when enemies are pushing you and you've got an SMG with a low ammo clip, and I've also gone for stability because on the SMGs you want to focus on stability and not accuracy. So that's basically my loadout. In the skills, I've got a Chem Launcher and a Hive Reviver. Hive Reviver is quite inconsistent, but future patches will fix it, so I'm looking forward to those. And the Chem Launcher is extremely useful. I just double tap L1 and it drops the chem at my feet and it heals me while I'm taking on enemies. It's a very useful thing to have, and I can also chem heal my teammates from a distance, so it's useful to have that, especially in the Dark Zone. So that's pretty much it. Let's talk quickly about the mods. If I press square on the bag, you can see here I've got bonus armor 3%, which is a nice addition to the overall loadout. But over here I found a purple mod which gives me 4% SMG damage, so you know, I'm 1.5 weapons damage, so both of these are really nice to have. Got very similar story on my other mods. So here I've got 2% critical hit damage, which is a bonus, 1.5% weapon damage, so that's nice. And then lastly in the vest, I've got this again, another purple mod, which is 4% SMG damage. So SMG damage really stacking up here. I've gone for this grenade because all of the others do vastly less damage. I can't use 2 of them because I'm not using the sharpshooter and I'm not using the survivalist. I could use the demolitionist, but it only does 95,000 damage, and this does over 300,000. So for me, it's not worth it to, you know, cause bleed damage. It's much more worth it just to do fast amount of damage on impact. Now let's show you the stats page. So in terms of reviewing a loadout, this is probably the most important thing because you get an overall view. I've talked you through all the gear talents already, so I don't need to go through all of these, but just want to show you the summary pages of what I'm doing with the crit hit chance and damage. So on the weapons, you can see that I've got 60% critical hit chance, 61% critical hit damage. So that's more than half my bullets that come out of my clip are critical hits. So it does loads of damage. I've got 58% headshot damage, which is a nice bonus. And as I scroll down, you can see I've got 29% SMG damage, so that's really adds up. I only do 33% damage to elites, but that's not essential. I'd rather prioritize crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and armor on this loadout, but the 33% is nice. I still blend through elites, and you'll see that in the video of me, working on this loadout. But as I scroll down, skills not important, and defense. The armor is quite nice to have a good amount of armor. If you don't have good armor on this loadout, you won't be able to get close to the enemy and start fragging them, in their face. You'll be a bit of a glass cannon. So that is my loadout. I'm going to show you a video of me working on this loadout and, killing some enemies just to show you in practice. But that is pretty much it. It does vast amount of damage. It's really good to have in the dark zone. It's also fun to have in PvE. I've not tried it out yet in conflict, but it does the job definitely against agents in the dark zone. So give it a go. If you've got any questions on this loadout, let me know in the comments. I've got other videos for loadouts, for a skill-based loadout and a 1,000,000 damage sniper rifle loadout. So check out those other videos. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and stay tuned for future videos. Thank you very much. I'm going rogue, okay? Get wrecked. Get absolutely wrecked.